Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Enterprise Architect series. Thanks very much for joining us again. A reminder to everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe on the videos. Please let us know in the comments if there's any future videos that you'd like to see us doing. We've still got a long way to go on our roadmap. I'm joined today again by Stephen. How are you, Stephen?
Very well, Tom, and glad to be here.
Fantastic, fantastic. So today, Stephen, I believe we're looking at the inspector window inside Enterprise Architect.
That's right, Tom. Another one of the productivity windows. The inspector window is a useful window. It's a window that perhaps could be called an element browser. The project browser looks at package structure and diagrams and elements and features like attributes, but the inspector window focuses in on a single element. So let's have a look at how that works. We're going to change our perspective again. I've been doing some wireframing work. You see that up in my perspective selection up here. I'm going to go to UML and I'll go to all UML. So let's have a look at our navigation cells. Here we've got the home page here, and we can click down into structural models, and I'm going to click down onto the class model. So there we have it there. There's a class model that we built in an earlier video. Now, if you don't know where the inspector window is, with any window, the best place to go is to the Start ribbon, the All Windows panel, the design icon, and you'll see it there as the inspector window. Now, it actually was open, and you can see it's empty, and it says select an element to browse its content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the parking meter, one of our core elements. And you can see now that we've had that selected, it becomes what we call the context element, the element in focus. And we have the inspector window now populated with a range of features, including operations and attributes. We've got relationships, requirements. Let's just open some of these up, Tom, and have a look. So we've got relationships. So we can see that it's involved in a number of relationships there. So that's a very handy thing. If I didn't have the window open and just had it on in the project browser, then that would still show me those relationships. I've also got requirements. So this might confuse some people, but Enterprise Architect has a very useful feature of allowing modelers to define requirements for a particular element. We call them internal requirements. So you remember that we did do a video on requirements, and we do have a requirements model here that lists a whole range of requirements, but they apply generally to the system. But if we go back to our inspector window with the parking meter element selected, we can have a look at the requirements for that particular parking meter. Now, here we have a requirement called damage resilient. Yeah, and if I look at that and I want to open the list there, and you can see now that this damage resilient one pops up, and I can say, let's modify selected and have a look at it. And you can see now that there is a whole lot of information in here about this damage resilient. A parking meter can be fortified against vandalism, tampering through a combination of physical measures like hardening the steel housing, etc., etc. It is a requirement that applies just to the parking meter, and it's called an internal requirement. We'll close that window for a tick and look at some of the other things. We've got attributes here. We can see that there's got a meter ID and a meter type. We've got operations. And again, we can launch these windows, open in list, and there we can see we've got operations, and we can flick through to attributes if we like. And we have a number of other things listed there as well. So let's have a look at something which is one of my favorites, and we haven't touched on this, and it's going to be the topic of a longer video, but let's look at discussions. So let's open this window up and say that we wanted to start having some discussions about this parking meter. Now, there are a large range of collaboration features in the tool, and you can see that from the Start ribbon. There's a central panel there called Collaborate, and it's got journals and discussions and reviews and chats and mails and all sorts of other things on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Jenny Jenny's actually logged in for me in the background there. So Jenny's one of our users, and Jenny's going to wants to enter a discussion item here. So let's just put that in, and she can just type into this window here, and there it is. And in this situation, that a motorist wants to extend the session before the expiry time, will their extension be added to the current time or added to the previous session end time? So that was something that, that's come up. And so Jenny's answered that. Now, we have a number of other users that are using the system at the same time. And so let's log on as another user and let's see whether this person can answer that question for them. So we logging on as Casper Heisman, and let's do that. And you can see now that the Casper Heisman is logged on. Casper looks at this and thinks he knows the answer to this. So Casper will respond to that. And I might have just select that all and delete it for tick. And what we've got there is, hey Jenny, we discussed this briefly. So Casper posts that response, and then we can see it. We can see it there. Hey Jenny, we discussed this briefly in yesterday's design review meeting. Jenny was away, but the user story for digital meters was only updated this morning to specify that an extension before an expired session will be added to the end of the time of an unexpired session. No, this is not the case for manual coin meters. So let's just continue this and have a look. Over in our portals window, you can see that that discussion is being listed over there. But let's just do something else. I'm going to log back into the application myself because I've got something that I want to discuss about that as well. So I'll log in as myself, and I want to say something about it to do with the time. So I'm going to put a log back in there. I'm going to put that message in. I'm going to post that. And so now you can see that this collaboration, this discussion feature is starting to be, quite rich. Stephen wrote, the user story also states that the total time existing session plus extension session must still not contravene the permitted parking time for the selected space or zone. So over here, Tom, if I had that, closed and I was over here and looked at my discussions and think, wow, what's going on there? That immediately, clicking on that immediately opens that window, and I can see the whole thread of that discussion. So incredibly powerful there. The other thing is we've got a whole range of other things here. We've got constraints, and I'm going to show you a slightly different way of doing this. I can go constraint list here, bring that up, and I can put the constraint in here. So let me enter one of the constraints. So I'm going to put in one stating that the hourly rate always has to be a positive number. Now, I know that might seem common sense, but it's the kind of thing that can get missed in this kind of work. And we can put some details in about that as well. So let's look at that and modify that selected one and put some details. The cost per hour is always a currency value greater than 0, and we've used some constraint language here. Hourly rate must be greater than 0. So I'll save that, and you can see now that that's been updated in here, and we have a whole range of other things, Tom, and I might get you to perform some of your magic, and I'll continue through, and we'll add some more of these.
No worries. All right, well, here comes the magic, and we'll get this inspector window populated. Hey, Stephen. All right, we're back. What's changed?
So a few things have changed, Tom. We left by adding a single constraint. Now you can see we've got a number of constraints in here. I can open those up, and you can see in this responsibilities window, we can see that you've got a number of constraints here. So the maximum parking duration is less than 24 hours. So we don't want people parking their car somewhere and going to the airport for a trip for a week or so. So that's one of the things, and we can look at the details of that. A vehicle is not permitted to park for more than a 24-hour period. And we've got a constraint, OCL constraint in there. Self-maximum parking duration is less than or equal to 24 hours. So that's kind of, we've added a few things there. We've added a scenario as well, the sunny day scenario here, and you can look at that. A user remote taps the display to activate the meter. they enter the vehicle's registration number, select a duration, the meter responds with a cost, the user presents the payment with either a card, debit, or taps with a smartphone. So all these things are talking about this parking meter. We had attributes and operations before. We looked at those. We've got a reception, which is a type of message, a signal that's being sent between different parts of the application, and we can look at that. Open that in the list, and we've got that there as well. We've also got maintenance and project features. So if we look in here, we can add under maintenance, we can add new features, a change, a document, an issue, a defect, a task. So it always happens, Tom, that everyone knows that there are issues and defects with an application, and Enterprise Architect kind of brings that front and center and says, look, these should be modeled things as well. We don't want to just hide from defects and issues. We want to be able to put those into the repository and have them addressed. So we've put one in here as a feature: send expiry warning to the motorist. So this was a new feature that someone put into the feature list, that it said, when the system will send a text message to a motorist to warn that a meter is about to expire. So, a feature that was, requested by a number of motorists has been incorporated into that maintenance window. And the project window also, we've just put one of those things in. We've got a number of different decisions, events, efforts, risks, metrics, project lists, and all sorts of other options. This one here is is the new solar panel backup. So again, we can open that in a list and look at that, and we'll just bring that up, modify the selected. The meter will be fitted with a small solar cell and a battery that will keep the meter functioning during the any blackout conditions. So, something that's, a modern piece of technology there using that. And we've also got resources. So, this is an interesting one. We can have any number of resources that are assigned to this, and they may be doing different things. A business analyst might be looking at, all sorts of pieces of requirements and how they get implemented. A developer might be interested in, what needs to be developed. A database person might be looking at, the information that's been persisted. And so again, we can open that in a list and look at that, and you can see that it's brought up a Gantt chart there. But I could also, if I wanted to, just look at that one, and it brings up this window, the assigned resource. Casper Heisman has been assigned to this. He's a developer. The code the message formats between the meter manager and the payment system. Got a start date, an end date, expected time, allocated time, and you can see from the Gantt chart that Casper's about 79% through this task. So perhaps a little bit ahead of schedule there. So that's the inspector window. Really, really powerful to use. Remember, you can change your workspace layout. I could drag that one around and I could put it there and use the Alt-G key to find this one in the project browser. And, there it is. There's the parking meter, and immediately those extra properties or information pop up. Now, if I chose a different element, you can see now that is moved away, and we haven't got all those things defined for the near field communication there. So very, very useful feature there. The other thing is, I can look at discussion history. We will have a full video on some of these collaboration features, Tom, but the one that we've entered here, it's a useful thing today to look at it and say, let's look at our discussions and see what's going on. And that's something that I keep open all the time with my repositories, just to be able to look at what people are discussing and see if I can contribute to it, and swarm in on the on anything that we need to get addressed straight away.
Oh, fantastic, Stephen. That's truly is amazing how much extra detail, information, and other data you can have on just one single element inside Enterprise Architect. I think we're starting to really get into the meat of what makes a tool like this so powerful. That's really great to see, and thank you very much for sharing.
Pleasure, Tom.
And thank you to all for watching today again for this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. What's your favorite inspector
feature.
quick call, I guess you would call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you use the inspector window for the most? And if you haven't, are you looking to do that in the future? Join us again tomorrow for our next video. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you then. Catch you later, Stephen.
Thanks, Tom.